1,76,000 crore rupees. That's how much Anil Ambani was worth in 2008. He was the sixth richest person globally, much ahead of his elder brother Mukesh Ambani. Cut to 2025. He's almost got nothing left. In 2020, he filed bankruptcy in a UK court. So how did Anil Ambani go from being one of the richest men in the world to bankrupt? This story isn't just about Anil Ambani. His mistakes are a warning sign for every investor and business owner. Because if a billionaire can lose everything overnight, what does that mean for the rest of us? So, stick around till the end. Anil's story begins long before himself, somewhere around India's independence.
At the stroke of the midnight hour,
it was largely an agrarian country. Up to 54% of India's GDP was coming from agriculture in 1947. Today, it's only around 17%. Years of colonialism had managed to fund Britain's industrialization at the expense of India's industries. It was in this backdrop that a young man from Gujarat, who goes by the name Dhirubhai Ambani, sails to Aden in Yemen to work as a clerk. In 1958, he comes back to India with an entrepreneurial vision and the knowledge of import-export business. He sets up a trading business by the name Reliance Commercial Corporation.
Like my father founded Reliance with a table and a chair and 1,000 rupees. It was 5 decades ago.
It was a business involving trading in spices. They exported spices and other items to places in the Middle East and East Africa. This went on for a few years, but eventually, Dhirubhai Ambani wanted to transition from trading to manufacturing. So in 1966, he opens Reliance Textiles, a company that would manufacture synthetic textiles. Things went well for Dhirubhai. He slowly built his empire and expanded it. But this would not stay for long. In 1986, Dhirubhai Ambani suffered a stroke. After this, the handling of day-to-day activities of Reliance Group goes to his two sons, Anil and Mukesh. The brothers worked together and peacefully until their father was alive. In 2002, Dhirubhai Ambani suffered his second stroke and passed away. Now that the father was dead, both the brothers wanted a share of the Reliance brand name. So in 2005, to prevent any further fights, Kokilaben, their mother, asked the two brothers to divide the empire into two. And so they agreed. Mukesh got the oil, gas, petrochemical and manufacturing parts of the businesses. Anil, on the other hand, got Reliance Energy, Telecoms and Reliance Capital. For the next few years, everything Anil touched turned to gold. Well, that's how it looked on the surface. His telecom company, Reliance Communications, became India's second largest telecom provider at a time when mobile phones were exploding in popularity. His financial company, Reliance Capital, was growing into a giant, competing with some of the biggest names in banking and investments. And Reliance Infrastructure was bagging massive government contracts, from metro projects to power plants. By 2008, Anil Ambani wasn't just a successful businessman. He was a superstar. Forbes magazine ranked him as the sixth richest person in the world. In 2008, he launched India's biggest ever IPO with Reliance Power, and the promise was to build massive power plants and revolutionize India's electricity sector. The demand was so high that the stock was oversubscribed multiple times, but tragedy struck soon.
The Reliance Power IPO crashed minutes after the company listed, as the Anil Dhirubhai Ambani Group lost more than 51,000 crore rupees in market capitalization.
The moment it hit the stock market, reality crashed in. Instead of rising, Reliance Power stock collapsed by 75%, wiping out billions of rupees in investor wealth. With Anil losing trust in the power sector, he had to rely on other businesses in other areas. While his competitors were aggressively investing in 3G and 4G, Anil was focused on CDMA or 2G technology, a move that turned out to be a disaster. CDMA was clunky, outdated, and not as widely accepted as 4G. Airtel, Vodafone, and Idea quickly adapted to faster networks while Arcom was left struggling to keep up. To keep up, Anil had to borrow. Expansion was his game plan, and he was willing to take on insane amounts of debt to keep his businesses running and expanding. Anil's worst nightmare was not any stranger, but his own brother. When Mukesh Ambani launched Jio in 2016, in June of 2010, Reliance Industries bought 96% stake in Infotel Broadband Services Limited or IBSL. And guess what? IBSL was the only company to have won broadband spectrum in all 22 zones in India in the 4G broadband wireless auction that took place earlier that year. In 2013, IBSL was renamed Reliance Jio Infocomm Limited. In December of 2015, on Dhirubhai's birthday, Reliance began Jio trials for its employees. The trials were intended to check the flaws in the networks before going out to the public. On 5th September 2016, after a 90-minute speech by Mukesh Ambani, Jio was live for public use. In a way, Jio was the world's largest startup with an investment of 1.5 lakh crore rupees. The money was being pumped in to set up telecom towers, fiber optic cables, and purchase of spectrum. And most of this investment came from Mukesh Reliance Industries Limited. Jio changed the game overnight, and the biggest damage happened to Reliance Communications. In just 2 years, Arcom lost millions of subscribers. Arcom simply could not compete. Their network was outdated, their pricing wasn't competitive, and with all the debt piling up, there was no way out. By 2019, it was a game over. Reliance Communications shut down, defaulting on a mind-blowing 45,000 crore rupees in loans. In 2023, banks seized control of whatever was left of the Reliance Group. The empire was once worth 1.76 lakh crore rupees, had been reduced to almost nothing. And if you think that wasn't shocking enough, let me tell you that Anil Ambani declared bankruptcy in a UK court, claiming he had zero net worth. Anil Ambani's downfall wasn't just another billionaire losing money. It's a crash course in what to do and what not to do in business. So what can we learn from his mistakes? First, debt is a ticking time bomb. It can help a business grow, but if you borrow more than you can repay, it will destroy everything. Second, if you don't evolve, you don't survive. Mukesh Ambani built Jio. Anil stuck to outdated telecom tech. We all know who won that battle. Third, awareness is important. Anil ignored market warnings, refused to change, and kept expanding without financial stability. One built an empire, the other lost everything. So what do you think? Could Anil have saved this empire if he made better choices? Tell us in the comments. And if you found this breakdown interesting, you won't want to miss our next deep dive into another billionaire story. See you in the next one.